What's going on, you guys? This is Dimension Scott back at you once again with a brand new ranking video, and today this is finally my Star Wars ranking video. Before we get into today's video, if you guys are brand new to my channel and you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, comment down below, and subscribe for more videos if you like what you see. You can also find me on Facebook and Instagram with the same name as usual, Dimension Scott, where I talk about all things physical media. Okay guys, so I'm going to sound as energized as I can as possible because I am recording this video really early in the morning because I'm doing a lot of things in my house. So this is a ranking video I've been waiting to do for a long time on the channel. I did say I was going to do a Star Wars ranking video in my haul video, so I watched the entire Skywalker saga, and I've seen the anthology movies, which was Rogue One and Solo: A Star Wars Story. And look, here's the thing. I'm a big Star Wars fan. I've enjoyed Star Wars since I was growing up, and I still enjoy it today. However, what really bugs me is how the Star Wars fan base always treats these movies, praising them or bashing them, because Star Wars fans always bashing everything Star Wars ever since probably the original era, the prequel era, and now the sequel era, which is under the leadership of Disney. But it's just so unfair to all these fans in the world always going online and out there in public always criticizing and bashing something they don't like in their favorite franchise based on Star Wars. Star Wars is a sci-fi epic adventure series that I've always enjoyed because of Jedi, lightsabers, and all that kind of stuff. And I would never ever bash something I don't like in a whole movie, because all these Star Wars movies are ridiculously divisive. The prequels and the sequels, and probably even the original trilogies as well, and including the anthology movies. So, but I enjoy Star Wars no matter what. So, without no further ado, shall we begin? Number 11 for me is Star Wars Episode 2: Attack of the Clones. This has been the most mediocre prequel movie in the Star Wars prequel trilogy for me, because not so many good performances, and it looked like it was just shot on green screen. It didn't look like they were shooting on real set. You can say the third act of this movie is the best part of this movie, where the Jedi show up, Yoda using a lightsaber and all that. But overall, Attack of the Clones has always been the most boring, mediocre out of all these movies, and set in the prequel era, because of all the complaints that I have personally for this movie, because it just didn't feel like they were shooting a movie. It was just some actors interacting with all this green screen stuff, and it just takes you out of the movie, and it takes so long to get going. At number 10 is Star Wars Episode 1: The Phantom Menace. I remember when I was growing up, I got this movie on VHS, and I probably loved it for the lightsabers, the John Williams score, and Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi played by Liam Neeson and Ewan McGregor. I know there was a lot of huge complaints about Anakin Skywalker played by Jay Lloyd. Darth Maul barely has screen time. He has no dialogue, except he's killed off until they brought him back in the Clone Wars TV. I thought I liked the power racing, and like I was just saying, I love Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. I love the John Williams score, and for the most, it's okay. It's the pacing of the movie I actually prefer than its follow-up sequel, Attack of the Clones. So it's okay still. At ninth place is going to be Solo: A Star Wars Story. Not a bad movie. A lot of people boycotted this movie after the release of The Last Jedi, and I know a lot of people really did not ask for a Solo movie and only see Harrison Ford as that character. But as for me, the actor of Solo, he did a fine job, and I enjoy all these other casts in the movie. It's a shame that this movie killed the chances of more anthology spin-offs to hit the big screen in theaters, and there were some subplots in this movie that ended on a cliffhanger that I'm just not so sure we'll ever get to see resolved. At eighth place for me is going to be Return of the Jedi. I know some people are going to think, why is Return of the Jedi at eighth place? Well, hear me out. It was just the start of being it's the weakest of the original trilogy. I know. Some things with the Ewoks are kind of embarrassing when you watch these Ewoks beat up these stormtroopers. And I heard originally it was going to be Wookiees, which made it into Revenge of the Sith. But as for me, it's kind of embarrassing to watch stormtroopers get beat up by teddy bears. And it was just the start of CGI so noticeable, and it just takes you out of the movie, and that's just kind of overly praised. And so many people criticize Force Awakens, why they're using a Death Star when they use a Death Star in this movie. So that I never got into those complaints because they use a Death Star in this movie, and uh, Luke Skywalker redeeming his father was great. That's really all I can say. Return of the Jedi is it's a decent conclusion to the original trilogy. I wouldn't say it's the greatest, but it's still decent to conclude the original trilogy. With some special effects do not hold up, and I'm not a huge Ewok fan, and it's sort of embarrassing to see what happens to these stormtroopers get beat up by teddy bears and some CGI and some changes that George Lucas did to these movies. At number seven, I don't I'm not so sure if I'm going to switch this anytime soon or again. But right now, I'm just going with at number seven for me is Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith. Now, we can agree that this is easily the best movie of the prequel trilogy, all right? It's about Anakin's turn to the dark side. That's what we've been waiting to see what Anakin's tragic to become the greatest villain of all time, Darth Vader. So, yeah, I really do enjoy Revenge of the Sith. So much better than Attack of the Clones. I wouldn't say it's great. And I can't bring myself to think it's my favorite Star Wars movie of all time. But anyway, I enjoyed the story about Anakin's turn to the dark side. Um, Anakin and Obi-Wan facing each other off on Mustafar. It is sad. It is still epic. It has that great John Williams Duel of the Fates score. Yeah, Revenge of the Sith is really good. It is definitely about Anakin's turn to the dark side. Really tragic. Coming in at number six is an unpopular opinion, which is Star Wars, the controversial Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, which divided the fan base because they were expecting a direction they think it should have gone in, but Rian Johnson decided to do his own thing, which I really don't understand people hating that because this movie was being written while Episode 7 was in production, and there are some complaints I can understand, but there are also complaints I do not understand. It. And so many people act like this movie is the worst Star Wars movie. It ruined everything. If you're out there and you hate this movie, call this movie trash, that's on you. But anyway, this is about Luke Skywalker and our new characters facing off the First Order and learning. We are learning from Luke Skywalker making mistakes, and there was no way he was just gonna take the lightsaber and go save the day. In the end, I think that's just too much of a predictable movie. But I still enjoy The Last Jedi for what it is. Luke Skywalker, played by Mark Hamill, did a great job, and it's so incredibly shot. Like they were really filming on set. Say what you want about Last Jedi, but it really took the risk to tell some bold story. If you don't like that, then that's just on you. All right, but I think in time and years, more people will come to appreciate this. It's not my favorite personally of the sequel trilogy. There's just something else that I really prefer in the other movies, which I will get into. Moving into my top favorite is number 5 here, Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. First off, for those of you who don't know, that there was actually a different ending to this movie, but it had to get changed. So I'm not so sure we're going to see that ending or what was cut from this movie that didn't make it into this final version of the movie. But Rogue One is a solid anthology spin-off movie. No, with great cast, great action, and especially that incredible Darth Vader hallway sequence at the end of this movie. So Rogue One is awesome. I know there's complaints about these characters you don't care about and all that stuff. Never got into that. Not at all. The droid K2SO, he's an awesome droid. And anyway, I think Rogue One is a great spin-off movie. At fourth place is going to be Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker. I don't care what nobody says. Uh, Even though after all the divisive reception about Last Jedi, that people argue that this movie tries to course correct it, but I just think they just want to just try to go out with a bang as much as possible and have fun with it. Even if you think this movie retcons everything from Last Jedi or George Lucas's story based on Anakin Skywalker and blah blah blah, but um, Rise of Skywalker has great visuals. It is so entertaining and it is fun from start to finish. That's what apparently is what this movie is. If you really think this movie is just retconning everything, then I don't know what to tell you. Rise of Skywalker for me is a enjoyable conclusion to our new trilogy and our Skywalker saga until the next movie that I've been hearing about. Number 3 is the second Star Wars movie in the original trilogy. That is Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, great sequel. Of course, you had that Darth Vader versus Luke Skywalker. Spoiler: I am your father. It is really well shot. Master Yoda, Luke Skywalker training, and Luke, Han, and Chewbacca doing their thing, running away from the Empire. It's a great sequel. I still don't like to think it's my favorite sequel of all time, like other people do. I never saw this movie when it first came out. Even from what I've heard, people hated it. Why? Because it was dark. Because it ended on a cliffhanger. We didn't know what was going to happen until the events of Return of the Jedi came out. But anyway, but I think Empire Strikes Back on its own is still a really great movie. Number 2 is the first Star Wars movie in the original trilogy, which is Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope. Awesome. Where it all began. That's really all I can say about this movie. Star Wars: A New Hope is awesome. Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Princess Leia, Darth Vader, Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's just where it all started in the Star Wars universe. And then number 1 is Star Wars Episode 7: The Force Awakens. Say what you want, just because it's a rehash of A New Hope, but I believe that this was actually a solid welcome comeback after years and years of not getting a Star Wars movie in live action after all the divisive reception about the prequels. Force Awakens wanted to take everybody back to a time in a galaxy far away. And I actually think I like some of our legacy characters like Han Solo, Leia, and even Chewbacca better in this movie than what they were in the original trilogy, and that's just me. So anyway, and I love the introduction of our brand new characters, Rey, Finn, Poe, and more. They did a great job welcoming back Star Wars in this movie, and I still like to think it is still one of the most enjoyable Star Wars movies ever made. So there we have it, guys. What did you guys think of my Star Wars ranking from least to best? Let me know down below. How would you rank your Star Wars from least to best? Let me know all that down below, and don't start a war in the comment section below. But that's going to be it, guys. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in my next video. Peace out, and may the Force be with you.